Hello, guys, and welcome to Heart and Mind, where we discuss the world of mental health and wellness. I'm your host, James Kimutai, and today we are joined by two incredible guests to help us explore how mental health shapes us from a young age and the impact it has as we grow. My guest here is Albin Musebi at the end and Martha Wairimo. So to start us off, Wairimo, I have a question for you. Let us start with you. When we talk about mental health beginning in childhood, what does it really mean?
Mental health beginning in childhood. For me, it's mental health beginning in childhood is large, first of all, because when we look at a child's development, it all starts from a very young age when they are already in the uterus. You affect that child's emotion if you show them love when they are growing in you, and once they're out, you give them the attention they need, not too much attention. See, this is one thing most people don't know. If you give a child too much attention, they won't be independent in a healthy way.
True.
So you should give a child attention, and once you see the child is okay with your attention, start pulling away kidogo, because that child will entirely depend on you, which is not okay. The second thing is a child's emotion is very, very crucial when they are kids, because if you don't give your child the right emotions and the right space to show their emotions correctly, they will be very aggressive, first of all, because if you don't show your child love and attention, they'll be aggressive to you. They will try each and every method they have or they have learned to get your attention. And the first one is usually aggression. They're usually so aggressive. Once you see a child is aggressive towards the parent, just know that child wasn't given attention. And that mirrors once they go into school and they are bullies and all that, because they want other people to notice them, which is so wrong. As parents, okay, if you decide to have a child, make sure you yourself, you are mentally okay, because most people don't know that. If I as a parent I'm not mentally okay, I will transfer my traumas to the child. If I didn't get enough love where I grew up, I won't give my child enough love. I won't show them this is how love is, because I personally don't know, or I haven't healed to the point where I am okay showing you the right kind of love. If you look at people who have psychological traumas from their past lives, if a lady was hurt by a man and they get a child who's a boy, they will reflect, okay, they will give back the hate to men through this child, which is so wrong. I think emotional health and psychological issues from kids largely are affected by parents, which is an issue that most people should really, really work on. Yeah, I think that's that's my take.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Alvin, I'll jump to you. I have a question for you. So in the early issues that they go unaddressed, how can they affect young adults in experience?
Okay. So I think how these issues manifest into your adult life is, let's say, for example, if you're brought up in a household that you're neglected and abused, then you'll grow up as a person who needs validation so much from other people that you start to lose yourself and not really value yourself as a person. And you start to develop such things such as anxiety, worrying whether, everything is okay. Am I doing everything right? Because at home, I never got that love. I never really got that attention. And it also manifests in ways where people cannot really regulate their own emotions. Then, you end up falling into things like depression and start picking up the wrong coping mechanisms such as, substance abuse. And it just becomes a whole problem that now, as you get older, it's much harder to manage. And you know, as from a child growing up, your mind is constantly developing.
Yeah.
So if you don't address the issues and you keep growing up with them, then it becomes part of your personality in one way or another. And it becomes really hard to break from those habits.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Whatever you said is really true. So this question goes to the both of you. So does it become harder when you get to a point whereby these issues go unaddressed?
I think it does get harder because, just as I said, you know, as you're growing, your mind develops and you get to a point where it now becomes you as a person. It's what defines you. So if you don't address them early enough, then it becomes harder, because how do you break away from being you yourself? And yeah, it just becomes a very hard issue.
Yeah.
For you?
I think I'll concur with him because, just as he has said, it becomes you. The more you do things, okay, when we look at the human mind, if you repeat something for 3 consecutive weeks, that becomes you. Now imagine it being you since you were a kid. You take that emotion and you wear it, and it's you for the rest of your life. And I think it's an issue that people should really look at, because you see people, like you see one person and you're like, wow, I've seen this in someone else. And it's a whole loop of people who are stressed, people who are depressed, people who have trauma, and the whole nation just becomes one particular or 2 different people wearing, okay, it's 2 different characters, but they have the exact same issues. So I think people should really look onto that and work on it as early as possible. Yeah.
All right, it's definitely eye-opening to see how much impact these experiences can have on somebody. So what do you guys think is needed to providing support before it's too late?
For me, I think is really seeing things as they are. Because once you see an issue, once you see someone has an issue, you have to work on it fast. And people just, they turn a blind eye and they're like, bana, we are used to this. That's how that person acts. But we haven't really asked ourselves, why are they acting that way? What happened for them to be that way? It's something that people aren't really open to. And I think we should, as a coming generation, it's a generation that is full of people who have a lot of traumas, and people aren't ready to talk about it. Because you're like, oh my god, that's my trauma, I don't want people to know about it. That's someone else's trauma, she told me or he told me about it, and I'm supposed to keep it a secret. In as much as people are afraid, we should really see things as they are and work on them as fast as possible, just as I have said. And also the myths that people have of going to therapy, it's like, oh, therapy doesn't help. For someone to go to therapy, it has to be a you initiative, not other people telling you, oh, you have to go to a therapist and get help. No, it has to be me. I have to go to a therapist and get help, because that is the reason why most people are so suicidal in this generation, and people aren't ready to see that. Most people have suicidal thoughts and you can't know, because one day you wake up, someone is so happy, and the next day you have a phone call, someone is dead. So I think therapy is one step forward to working on these issues.
Yeah, Alvin?
I think I can add on to that just by saying, I think as we come into this new generation, we are getting rid of the stigma of, if you're not doing well, then you're lagging behind. And I think it's getting addressed now as we go on, and more people are more inclined to go to therapy and everything. And I think how we can also provide more support is going back to the parents and just providing a safe environment where your child can have open communication with you, talk about their issues, talk about what they're going through, what they're struggling, without feeling like they're being judged or being neglected, so as to make sure that they're always feeling heard and feeling like they're part of a community rather than bottling up your feelings, and then one day it becomes a whole big thing and you don't know how to contain yourself, and you end up maybe going to the route of suicide. I think also just providing awareness about these are the different things people can suffer from. Sometimes it could start at a young age, and just to give people the right way to address these issues and the right path to follow, even as we try and overcome these issues. Yeah.
Mental health is a journey that begins early and requires attention throughout our lives. By understanding the roots, recognizing the effects of untreated issues, and embracing wellness through movement and nutrition, we can make a profound difference. I'm your host, James Kimutai, and thank you for joining us on Heart and Mind.
In photography, every click tells a story.
We create to inspire.
Here, you draw, we animate.
So enroll today by logging onto our website www.admi.ac.ke and get ready to turn your passion into profession.
Hi guys, my name is Bangare, who's gonna be taking you through this segment in the Heart and Mind called Zoezi Mtaani, where we're gonna be doing some few exercises that literally can be done anywhere, that are gonna prepare you physically and also keep you mentally still. So now you should be preparing. Unafaa kuna jitayarisha hapo paliko, jitayarishe tu paliko, and I'm gonna take you through 5 simple exercises that you can do. So the first exercise that you should do, and I really recommend you to start it off with, is simple basic push-ups. Yes, push-ups zinaweza kupeleka mbali sana. So you're gonna be doing 3 sets of them, a count of 12. So how to properly do push-ups? So of course, get to the ground, go on the ground like this, as you can see. Hands, they should be literally parallel to your chest. From there, now we go down till there, up. It's the method that's gonna count, because if you do it in a wrong position or in a wrong manner, haitakuwa poa kwako. Plus at the same time, it won't be like you won't be gaining. So we're gonna go 12 times down, slowly. So we start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you should do that one for 3 sets of 12. The next exercise that I highly recommend that you should do after that one is sit-ups. Now, sit-ups usually help the core a lot, and that's where the core is where the strength is coming from basically. So we need to strengthen that up. So how we do this? Go on the ground, ensure your leg is straight, arms behind your head, down, and then you start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Same number of reps as your push-ups. Now the last one that you're gonna do is planks. Planks are basically, it's the same as sit-ups, but this is zinasaidia sana core. They really strengthen your core, and that's where the strength comes. And also at the same time, it's usually pretty a challenge for the people who knows what planks are. It's any challenge. So how we're gonna do this? There are 2 ways. There's the lazy man's planks, and there's the standard planks that you should do. The lazy man planks, you just go to your push-up position and hold there. for like roughly 1 minute. Yeah. Now the standard one, this is the right position that you should be on, and then you're gonna do these things. We're gonna do the planks for 30 seconds. It really depends on how strong you are. If you're starting out, I usually tell people start 30 seconds and then 1 minute, you gradually go. So for now, I'm gonna be doing it for 30 seconds. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this one should be done as your last exercises. And after that one, people usually skip this part and it's tell them stretch Buddha. Ukitoka kuinua weights, ukitoka kuchapa tizi. The reason why you wake up in the morning na bado uko na hiyo feeling umechoka, bado umeona mwili, you never really did your stretches after. So stretches yenye nilikuwa na recommend, lock your arms like this and pull it out. Right? That stretches your arms. Yeah? So we're gonna do that for like 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, the last ones that I really recommend are the wall stretches. This one you need a wall. So utaweka mkono yako ina face away, mwili yako ukiangalia the other direction, and try to pull as much as you can to this direction, okay? And then you just stay there for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then you go to the next arm, you do the exact same way. I was your host who's taking you through these exercises in this segment, and stay tuned for more. Zoezi Mtaani.
I've gone from feeling ignored to feeling unwanted.
Don't you dare involve Wango into this.
Wewe na dad mnafaa kuwa hapo nikiwa na shida, nikiwa siko sawa, but unajua vile nani amekuwa akinisaidia?
Ahadi is dead.
Si tumekuwa naye leo. I will meet you at our favorite spot where we would always watch the sunrise.
So many people will miss you if you go out like this. Don't do it.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Stories of Our Lives. Today is a very interesting topic, and we even have a specialist, a professional in the field on what we're going to talk about. So, I would like you to introduce yourself, our beloved specialist.
Okay. My name is Caroline Gashikombudia. I'm a trained psychologist and also a HIV and sex education trainer. And I'm also registered with the Counselors and Psychologists Board of Kenya. So I've been doing this roughly for 10 years or more.
Wow. Yeah. That's a long time. Yeah. And our next guest. We're back again.
Yes, we are.
We're back again. Jonathan. At this point, you should be a regular.
I should. I really should. I guess. Yeah.
You should ask the producer. I need my
I need that contract, man.
Man, he does at this point. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about sibling relationship. Yeah. Because, most of us, if not a majority of us, have siblings, yeah? And in the siblings relationship, we always have like the ups and downs. But sometimes the ups are like this, and then sometimes the downs are like this. They have like a back and forth. Yeah, so your story about your siblings.
My story about my siblings. So I have 3 siblings. We're a family of 4 kids. I have 1 brother and 2 sisters.
Yeah.
So I'm the firstborn. Am I saying their ages or something?
I mean,
I could.
you
might
could.
as-
I think the age
yeah.
gap would help.
Yeah.
So I'm 21. My brother is 19. My sister is 15, and my
Yeah, you
other
almost
sister,
forgot.
yeah, and my other sister is 9.
So it's
Yeah.
like 21, 19. So that's
2 years.
2 years, and
then 6 years between me and my other sister, and then 12 years between my younger sister. Yeah.
12 years is a big age gap. Is there like in your specialty, like does age gap like play like a part in like sibling relationship roles?
Yes, it definitely does, and that's why I told him to mention it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe I could just ask, which ones do you find you're closer to? Like the one you have a shorter age gap, or the one who's way down there at 9 years?
Growing up, definitely I was close with my bro, because I mean, for 6 years it was just the 2 of us. So not for 6 years. Yeah, for a long time it was just the 2 of us.
6 years for you.
Yeah, 6 years for
And
me.
then
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a problem. I guess because we're 2 brothers, so we did a lot of things together growing up. We shared a lot of similar interests, but I think as we hit late teenagehood, around 17 or 18, we stopped seeing eye to eye on certain things. So yeah.
Can I ask what made you guys stop seeing eye to, like, do you know what made you guys stop seeing eye to eye, or it just
So maybe
naturally?
Okay.
I think we just, because I mean, at one point we were in high school together.
Yeah.
I think our interests just stopped aligning. Like his way of having fun, I think we're just 2 different people. So his way of having fun and my way of having fun, or like hanging out with friends, I think we're 2 different things.
They're like this.
Yeah. So he is somebody who will keep to himself, and he'll occupy himself by himself, and he'll be fine. Whereas for me, I enjoy going out with my friends and doing activities. So I guess in those aspects we didn't really like agree on
You're like,
yeah,
your life, my life.
yeah, my life, your life, my life, something like that.
Yeah.
Today, present day, I still have a good relationship with my brother, but I find that I'm closer to my sister who's 15. I think we share a lot of similarities.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes. So back to that question, like I was saying,
Yeah.
usually you'll find the siblings who grew up close together, like the way he has only a 2-year age gap with the brother, they tend to be close because they've grown up together,
Yeah.
as compared to siblings who the age gap is like 6-10 years apart. And then also now another factor which plays a very important role is how conflicts are handled with the parents. I didn't want to talk so much about parents today, but it's still very important, and they impact a lot of sibling relationships.
Wait, really? So like the parents can impact sibling
very
relationships?
huge weight. There's something in psychology we do called nature versus nurture theory. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yeah.
Nature versus nurture theory talks about, nature says that the way a child grows up in a home is based on their genetics, the nature, how they were born, the hereditary factors they acquired, such that if you grew up in a family of musicians, whether you like it or not, you naturally have an aptitude for music, for playing instruments and acting, performing arts, whatever it is that is in your family line. Whereas the nurture theory talks about the environment that you grew up in. So let's say if you grew up in a hood or ghetto-like area, because of that thing of needing to survive, even if your parents were polite, docile, sorry to use this word again, demure people, you'll find that the child may end up being a little more aggressive, and people may ask, where did you pick this from?
And it's 'cause
now
the
that is
environment.
the nurture. That's where the nurture comes in. But now of late, psychologists have been saying this too. So there's been a lot of arguments back and forth for the last so many decades or centuries, and people have said we have to balance between the two, that there's no theory that overpowers the other. So now the interesting aspect I wanted to bring here is the nurture theory. that sometimes people say, yes, both of you grew up in the same environment, whether it's a rich hood environment or a ghetto environment, but you find one sibling is more rough, more aggressive, and another one, despite growing up in such an environment, is not like that. So what causes that? Now it is the nurturing in the nuclear family, in the home itself. So if as parents, you show this one child, when they come home, they are hugged. This other child, when they come home, maybe they're told, you're the firstborn. You need to be strong. Don't cry. So even that thing of child order, firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, also sometimes plays a role. So when parents do that, you'll find these two children, though growing up in the same home, still
it's like different.
They grow up differently. But children who grew up in the same home and the parents nurture them the same way, chances are they have very healthy boundaries, very healthy relationships, because they're able to understand, I get the same treatment as my brother, the same reward and the same. It's about reward and punishment.
Okay.
So we will go later into that.
So before when I ask a question based on what she said, Carol, so now even when it comes to like the parents raising the kids, firstborn, secondborn, lastborn, more if you have more children.
6, 7, like that.
So like it has to be like a conscious thought, like, I have to raise them.
Hit the nail on the head.
Because naturally by default is like, your firstborn, kind of like experimental kid, and then the second born is like, okay, we kind of know. Then the last one is on at his quote-unquote babied.
Yes, and so because I interact also a lot with the youth, because part of my calling is working with a lot of the youth. Sometimes you also have to send them to a family counselor who now works with the whole family, because there's some kind of therapy which you can't do on the one-on-one person. It involves the bigger picture, especially when we're dealing with the issues to do with drug abuse and things like that. But here, let's just deal with small scale. Let's just start on the smaller levels, then we'll go to the deeper levels in another show. So for that kind of level now, parents have to be very cogent about it, like you're saying, very deliberate. So what is missing in Africa, in Kenya, in many homes is that education and that awareness. But now you'll find that the parents of this generation are becoming more aware, and they realize maybe the mistakes my parents did, like for many of these people, their parents are Gen X's. So maybe many of them will say, the way my parents raised me, I would like to do a few things differently now that I'm educated. And these are some of the things also when people go into premarital counseling, before couples come together into marriage, those are some of the processes they go through.
Which is advised to be done.
It is advised that you'll discuss what are some of the things I want us to bring into our home when we get kids. Who will be the discipliner? Who will play good cop, bad cop? Those are sometimes things people have to discuss, because kids can be very manipulative. Sometimes they can play one parent against the other. So if the parents don't present a united front, they can play that
part of like a clash.
Divide and rule.
So now, which leads me to my question. With you and your siblings, like, do you feel like you guys were like raised the same, or like those are very clean cut difference, like you're the firstborn, the second, the third, the fourth? Was there like a difference?
I think there was a bit of both. Growing up, my parents made sure that I realized that I was the firstborn, and with that came responsibility.
Man, the responsibility is a lot.
So it just meant, I can give examples of like when we were younger, and then let's say both our parents have stepped out for the day, and maybe my mom wants some work to be done around the house. She'll come to me and she'll tell me, so this is the work that needs to be done, and you guys need to do it.
It's like third parent to some extent.
And then now I would be expected to either give out those duties to my siblings in a fair manner, and then we do them, or I'm the one who ends up having to do them. So things like maybe cooking food, I'm told, okay, so for lunch we're having this and this and this, so I'm the one who has to go ahead and do it.
Like Jonathan? The house is now yours.
Something like that. And there were instances like, where I wouldn't do what I'm supposed to do, and my parents would come to me first and give me hell before going to the rest of my siblings.
I feel that one. I actually feel because it's like, because
so how did that make you feel? Like, did it make you resent your brother, or just feel like I need to step up more? How was the approach?
I never resented him for it. I think for me, I felt more like I let my parents down rather than I was angry at my brother for it. I think my parents made sure that everyone knew firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, fourthborn. So like, it's not. So I think my siblings knew that when they're not, when my folks are not around, that I'm the one who, like gives out the rules and stuff like that. I think I was fortunate to grow up in a home where certain those things happen, because I know it doesn't happen in every household that you have situations where, like, there's that sort of order or whatever. You find that some homes it's just not there. So I think I was fortunate enough to grow up in such an environment. But I would say there was a clear cut between firstborn, secondborn, third, and
what
fourth.
did that have like on your mental health? Did it like affect
you? It definitely did.
Yeah.
I would say I grew up with a lot of pressure on me because there were all of these expectations, especially because when I was younger, my folks had a lot of like activities that they would go to that would mean that they would be out for long parts of the day. So I think that put a lot of pressure on me to this day, where I'm really critical of myself because I didn't want to let my parents down or like make them angry.
And
or
that's
something
actually like
that.
a thing that actually happens fast, because even me, like, I feel like I also kind of felt the exact same
Yeah.
thing, because there's like a lot of pressure. You can't make a mistake.
Yeah,
Because
you
make a
can't
mistake,
make a
they come to you
mistake.
like, why did you
Yeah,
make that
why
mistake?
did you do that?
We're
And
firstborns.
they'll go to you first, not even to your sibling. So then now I think for me it was like, let me not make my parents upset or something of the sort.
So I think, Abija, if I could just add what Jonathan is saying, you can see very clearly from his home structure, that's what we call healthy sibling relationship and some measure of level of healthy parenting. So it sounds like your parents, you come also from a healthy family. It's not a broken home.
Yeah.
And those are also other factors that play into this. If someone comes, let's say, from a broken home and they're being made to be the parent, they'll feel like I am playing the father figure or mother figure role as opposed to my parents. So you see, that kind of nurturing has really helped. The other third thing I think I forgot to mention and I wanted to add is, apart from just the order of the family, firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, sometimes it breaks the rules. And where it breaks the rules is where we come into personalities. So people also have different personalities. There's a personality of a child. We'll go into that topic some other days. But there are people who also have personality disorders. So you can have a kid who's narcissistic or a kid who is histrionic. Now that's a kid who likes attention all the time.
Well, that English.
So you will need a lot of information and sensitivity in knowing how to nurture that home with that child with other siblings, because they will tend to overpower and overshadow all the other siblings and not want the parents to pay attention to them. And these are the ones you call drama kings, drama queens. Even as little girls as 6 years, 8 years, they want their parents only to focus on them.
And that's where if the parent doesn't know that or have that information, is knowledgeable about it, they won't.
And because they don't want to argue with the child, they're just like, let him just have his way. Let him, but it will damage this other child. Their self-esteem will always be low. They'll never speak up for themselves, whether it's in school or wherever, because they've been taught to always downplay their gifts and allow the other sibling to always shine. So even when people tell them you're gifted at this, they always subdue themselves. So such people may end up finding themselves much later in life, in their 20s, in their 25, maybe when they enter marriage, then maybe their spouse is the one telling them, but don't you know you have this? So like for many women, you'll find sometimes if they get a very good man, a very strong marriage, they can start blooming.
So now if I can ask you a question, like in a very, if you can briefly like summarize it for us, how can we work on this? How can parents work on this? How can us as siblings work on it ourselves to like better our mental health with our sibling relationship and also the parents to the children and the siblings, like briefly?
So we've already mentioned like what you're doing like with this podcast. That is one of the way, creating that awareness. And it's good, like in Kenya, we're starting to see more and more awareness about mental health issues regarding men, regarding families, regarding teens. Also because of social media and the kind of age we're in, people are being exposed to a lot. So the parents also need to be aware at a very high level and people are becoming very cognizant of their personalities at an early age. So that is helping. It helps if you know, oh, my personality is very withdrawn and very introverted, so I need to work more at this. As a parent, you need to realize, I have this child who's very quiet and will never speak up for themselves. So as a parent, you need to spend time with each child separately. If you have 2 kids, don't always just be the 2 of them. Each child must know they are special. I give 30 minutes. I tell you, this Saturday I want to, you like outdoorsy things, like Jonathan said. You can decide, I want to play football with you for 30 minutes. This other one likes drawing cartoons or writing a book. You go and sit with them when they're a kid and you tell them, I want to spend time with you, and we read a story with you. So no child feels neglected. They understand we are different, but we appreciate it. We are not compared.
So like now for you, what can you give like other people, like just a short advice on like sibling relationship from like your experience?
I would say that sibling relationships is something that should not be taken lightly, in that your sibling at the end of the day is family, and they can also still be your friend. Or they are your friend and they're family. So I think having a good relationship with your siblings is,
regardless of the difference.
Regardless of the difference, is good, because it means that you always have somebody in your corner.
True.
Okay, true. So I think having a good relationship with your siblings is necessary. You may not always get along, but I believe it's necessary.
That's not getting along is a lot, but like it's at the end of the day, it's worth it.
And on the flip side, if I can just add, now you see that age gap they had with the last born, who's now 9 years. What happens as you grow older, like he has, you now start realizing you're more, even though she's your sister, you're playing like a father figure role to her, and you're more of a friend to her, and you feel like protecting her.
That's true.
So that dynamic also changes there. If you have a healthy relationship like that, so they'll have a different kind of relationship with that one. You'll be more of like a protector, like a second father figure.
Because like that age group, like that age difference, you kind of feel like I got you.
It's true.
But that was an interesting topic, guys.
Thank you so much
for joining us, and I hope you guys enjoyed and took something from this podcast. It's until next time. Bye.
Peace.